Hi, in this video I am going to explain about increment or decrement operators in C# programming. So let's first begin with what are increment or decrement operators in C#. These operators are operators in C# language and is used to increment or decrement the value of variable by 1. Increment decrement operator is performed on only one operand or one variable. Now let's discuss about the operations of decrement and increment operator, means which kind of operations they perform. Number 1, plus plus is called increment operator. This operator are operator that increment the value of variable by 1. Similarly, next is decrement operator. This operator are operator that decrement the value of variable or operand by 1. So, increment decrement operator require only one operand, meaning increment decrement operators are performed on only one variable. For example, here I am just taking a variable n of type integer and assigning a value 10 to it. After then, plus plus increment operator can be applied on variable n, which increments the value of variable n by 1 from 10 to 11. Similarly, the decrement operator can be applied on variable n to decrement the value of variable n by 1, like from 10 to 9. Now let's talk about plus plus operator in C# with code. So plus plus operator increments the value of variable by 1. Let's understand this plus plus operator by a code in Visual Studio. In this example, the value on n is initialized to 5. Now we have applied plus plus increment operator on variable n in the next statement, and that statement, that operator increment the value of n by 1, so the resulting value of n is 6. Now on printing the value of variable n, the output will be 6. From output you can clearly see. Now there are two ways we can apply plus plus operator on variable n. Number 1 is pre-increment and number 2 is post-increment. In pre-increment, for example, plus plus n. Here we apply plus plus before variable n, and in post increment here plus plus applied after variable n. Now let's first talk about pre-increment. The pre-increment statement. First, in this first increment the value of a variable, then perform operation. What does it mean? Let's consider an example for the pre-increment operation. From this program, let's consider the statement b equal plus plus n. This statement first increment of the value of n, then assign the incremented value to b, variable b. Hence, if value of n is initially 5, then first it will be incremented to 6 and then it will be assigning to b. So the value of b will be 6. Here one important point to note that the value of n will also be 6 as it has already been incremented. So if I print here the value of n, then it will print 6, and from the output window you can clearly see that the value of b and n both will be 6. Next, we will talk about post increment. In this type of increment, first the value of variable is assigned, then the value will be incremented. Let's see by an example. Let's understand by an example this post increment code. In the post increment, plus plus is assigned after variable name. So post increment is just opposite to pre increment. First value of n will be assigned to variable b, and then n will be incremented. So the value of variable b will be 5, then increment happens. After then increment happens on n. So if I print the value of n, then its value will be 6. Let's run this program and see the output. From output window you can clearly see the value of b equal 5 and the value of n equal 6. The next is decrement operator. In C#. This operator decrements the value of a variable by 1. One important point to note here that all the rules we studied for plus plus increment operator as above that will be applied to decrement operator too. So just using minus minus operator instead of plus plus in all above examples, you can practice and see the result. I'm just here taking an example of decrement operator in Visual Studio. So in this example, in this program, value on n is initialized to 5. Now we have applied minus minus decrement operator on variable n in the next statement, then decrement the value of n by 1 and the resulting value is 4. Now on printing the value of variable n using console.writeline statement, the output will be 4, and from the output window you can clearly see the value of variable n will be 4. Now let's talk about types of decrement operator. There are two types of decrement operator. Here, number 1, pre-decrement, and number 2 is post-decrement operator. The example of pre-decrement is minus minus n. Here we are applying minus minus before variable n. And second, the example of post-decrement is n minus minus. Here minus minus applying after variable n. Let's understand this two operator here with the code in Visual Studio. First, we will talk about pre-decrement operator. Here in this program I am assigning a value of 5 on variable n. Now in expression b equal minus minus n, here first the value of variable n is decremented by 1 because it's a pre-decrement, and after then the value will be assigned to b. So in this case the value of both variable b and n will be same and will be 4. From output window you can clearly see. Next is the post decrement operator. Here the minus minus applied after n, and in post decrement first value of variable n will assigned to b, then value of n will be incremented. So here first the value of n will be assigned to b and the value of b will be 5. After then the value of n is decremented by 1. So in this case the value of b will be 5 and the n will be 4. And from the output window you can clearly see the values. Thank you, and if you like this video, please share and subscribe this video. Thank you.